who
Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined by a bunch of friends, Walsh, Gabe, and of course my good friend Matt. We're all good friends, I should say.
Chris,
yes.
Was the movie Hatching Pete a story about a furry awakening?
I've never heard of this at all.
Chris, what are you talking about? You talk about Hatching Pete probably once a day.
If that's the case, I guess I've lost it today, folks. I guess I've lost my identity of Hatching Pete. That one that
your eyes roll back in your head and you talk about how the Disney Channel original movie Hatching Pete is your favorite of all time.
Yeah, I just like I get like a super like satanic voice, but like it's all just positive things about Hatching Pete.
Oh, Hatching Pete was a story about finding oneself.
I love the story arcs.
Jason Dolly and Mitchell Musso were the best Disney Channel actors.
I feel like but real talk, like was Hatching Pete like after my time? Because I
don't know.
Like, because I stopped watching Disney Channel and Nickelodeon probably around like mid high school, late high school.
Oh, that was before. That was before then. Like that was
okay.
like Hannah Montana Sweet Life era.
Okay.
Disney Channel.
Then I did not know it existed at all. In any way, shape, or form.
Chris, in fact, can you recite the story, like the plot of Hatching Pete for us?
Sure. It's essentially about a guy who is stuck in a giant egg, and he is sick of living his life inside that egg. He does have a family, and he does have an amazing work life inside of that egg, but he just wants to get out and break out. And so the show is based around gaining the tools necessary to break out of the shell. And it's kind of like it's kind of symbolism for like someone coming, like being able to like get out of their uncomfort zone. You know what I mean? Like it's a way, it's a symbolism of like someone becoming more socially, available to people, I guess.
Wow.
Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast, everyone. That is all lies, and if I all nailed it, I would like to know, but I don't think I did it.
You did not. It's about a high school kid who puts on his high school's chicken mascot costume.
But he does, by doing so, he does come out of his shell. And
yeah. So you got that part right.
More socially active because he's too shy around people, especially the girl he likes.
Okay, all right. So I got close, somewhat close, not really. Yeah, we're joined today by Gabe and Walsh because we invited them over the course of the last, I guess, year or so to come on and guess NFL teams. You know, get their knowledge as to how much they understand NFL teams. And so now that they have been engrossed in this football culture, because I know they've been studying very hard ever since those episodes. We are going to then have all of us as a roundtable. We're going to rank the NFL team mascots based off of their logo, based off of whatever mascot they actually do have, if a team does have a mascot or not. But we're going to rank all 32 from best to worst, the branding, all right? Which ones we think should change, if any, which ones we think is just far superior above the rest. So looking forward to that conversation. And of course, we're going to have 4 people work together to create team number 7 for the VBBFL, which I'm very, very excited about. But before we get to any of that, we do have to address something that happened 2 weeks ago. I uploaded so we recorded on Friday. I want to say it was the 5th was the date. We recorded on that Friday, and then that Sunday we ended up I ended up uploading the episode. That was uploaded at noon. At 11 a.m. that Sunday, Julio Jones was traded to the Titans, and I could not have been more frustrated. Because I was just like, God damn it! Now, like half the conversation of that episode is now it's just absolutely pointless because he is now on a new team. Before I know that this is gonna cut off half of the podcast in terms of people who would have input on this, but just real quick, Matt, I want your take. What do you think about this trade? Does it work out for the Falcons? Does it work out for the Titans?
Yeah, it absolutely works out for the Titans. Their need of someone other than AJ Brown to catch passes was very high, and you got one of the best wide receivers ever to be on the team with you. And I think he'll work really well in tandem with AJ Brown on this team. And now the Titans don't have to worry about one injury sidelining them for the entire season. So I think it works out great. Falcons, obviously losing Julio was never going to be a good thing with how good of a player he is, but you still have Calvin Ridley, you drafted Kyle Pitts, you're going to still have receiving options, and this was time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think really at the end of the day the Falcons saw the situation, how it was unfolding, and knew that they had to move Julio. And those reports that came out that said that teams were offering first-round draft picks, it seems like that was probably coming from the Falcons at this point, because that ended up being a second-rounder that they traded Julio for. I think it was a second and a fourth, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it works out for them. They got the value that they maybe not hope to get, because again, they wanted a first-rounder, I imagine, but they got some great value for him, and I think overall, I don't know if the Falcons are really going to be competing this year. I do think there is a bit of a rebuild situation going on for the Falcons, so to trade one of their best, I think it makes sense. And even though I think they're going to be competing, they don't necessarily need Julio to do so, because they do have Kyle Pitts now, and they do have Calvin Ridley, and they have some weapons that could work out for them, and of course Matt Ryan, and with an Arthur Smith-led offense. So we'll see how that goes. Very interesting. Yeah, Arthur Smith, who just came from the Titans, that he basically traded the best wide receiver that was on the Falcons to his former teams.
It was an inside job.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was like, yeah, hey, can you take the Atlanta head coaching job, so that way we get Julio? Yeah, and like you said, Titans, I think it works out really well for them. I know there's talks about Julio Jones' injury history, but I don't know. I think it's fine.
Julio Jones has played injured so often, it's not a concern.
Yeah, and I think
you see him limping off the field in almost every game he plays, and he's fine.
Yeah, and I think that I think at the end of the day, he's going to do the best that he could on the field, and like if he's out for like short bursts of time during the regular season, you still have AJ Brown, and you still have not a great depth at wide receiver, but I think that you could probably go a few games without him if need be. But yeah, he just adds so much to that offense.
He is the best wide receiver 2 in the league.
Right. Yeah, like it really works out for them in a lot of ways. All right. Walsh and Gabe, do you have any input about Julio Jones? Cool. Good stuff. well, look, I just wanted to see if you guys would come up with stuff, but I'm okay with just leaving it as is. We will now move on to rank the NFL team. All right. I know that this is gonna spark debate. All right. I know that we have a large listening contingent of people who will take to Twitter and debate this out, and will be number 5 trending in the U.S. It might be some negative attention. You know what they say? Negative attention is attention, at least. You know what I mean? Like that's what matters. No, we're gonna rank the 32 NFL teams.
So by rank, you mean we are going to list them 1 through 32?
Basically.
Okay.
Yes, we're gonna do our best.
God.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. it's a lot here. But we'll do our best. If we decide that ranking is not going to work out, we'll just state opinions at the end of the day, and we'll move on from there. So I'm going to go ahead.
May I suggest? Do we want to do maybe tier list, kind of feel them out.
Ooh, I do. That's actually a good idea. Maybe
I think I would prefer tier lists myself.
Yeah. All right. So I'm writing down. There's no E rank, right? These sort of things. Okay. So we're gonna do S. We're gonna do S, A, B, C, D, F. You know, that usual ranking style. I believe there's probably a website for this, but I'm sharing a Google Doc to everyone right now. We're gonna have this kind of listed out here. All right, so we've gone over this. We've gone over each of these teams. We could definitely refresh as we reach them, but we're just gonna go from A to Z or A to W, I guess in this case, and we're just going to hit each team. And what do you guys think about the logo? What do you think about the colors of the logo? And what do you think about as a mascot generally? Just any opinions across the board. All right.
And by mascot, we're doing the the team name, like the Arizona Cardinals. The thoughts of Cardinals as a name, not the thing in the suit.
Yes, yeah. I think that would make more sense here.
Yep.
For this,
just wanted to clarify.
Yep, absolutely. So we're gonna start with the Arizona Cardinals. So I'll just tee this off and just say, when I think of Arizona, I just think that there's no life down in Arizona, that it's all just desert. And so when I think of Cardinals, I think Cardinals, I can more so associate that with like northern regions of like the, when I think Arizona, I don't think Cardinal, I guess, is more so how I'm going to interpret this.
They did start as the Chicago Cardinals.
Right, yeah. So this was a team that moved around a bit. It was the Chicago Cardinals, became the St. Louis Cardinals, and then moved over to the Arizona
I actually have a bit of
area.
information.
Sure, hit us with it.
Arizona is one of only 3 western states that host this bird.
Oh, so it does exist.
Yes.
Interesting.
In Arizona. Very nice.
Right.
Thank you for that
See,
information.
So there you go. So
my problem
ahead,
is
Walsh.
whenever I think of Arizona, I think the iced tea.
Yeah. Why not?
Why?
Why? Yeah. Why not? Why not just have a big old glass of iced tea as your mascot? I mean, that just makes a lot more sense. In terms of the logo itself, I mean, it's fine. Like, it doesn't do anything. It's just there. It's just a head. It's just a bird. Like, there's nothing like unique about it that just makes it stand out. So, like, to me personally, I would put this at like a C. It's about average. What about you guys?
I was also thinking C for a lot of the same reasons. Like, it's a bird.
Yeah.
Walsh
and Gabe.
Sure. To me, it feels pretty strong. I feel like the colors, especially the red, really grab the attention, and then being able to have like the focal point of the eye, and it's a logo that, especially when compared to looking at a lot of the other ones, actually catches the eye pretty well. So I'm gonna actually, I think Cardinals is not something that's not like a team name that I hear too often, but I am not in the sport world. Like, same way that if like every high school team seems to be, I don't know, the Bulldogs or Wildcats, yeah. Or but Cardinal feels a bit more original to me, and the logo feels more eye-catching. So I'm going to say A tier.
A tier. Okay. Gabe, what about you?
I also agree with Walsh. I'm also going to be doing a secret hidden factor because I'm the resident furry of the group and going to be using them as like a focal point of do they make good personas?
I love that. I love that. So you think A as well?
Yes, I think A as well. Like,
all right. I feel like then we should like average them out as best we can, so it would average 2 A's, 2 C's, average out to B.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So Cardinals B tier. I like it. All right, moving on to the Falcons. I'll let. How about Matt? You start on this.
Sure.
With this one.
Yeah, we can kind of go through at least like what we know each of it, like one at a time. Mm-hmm. This will line up nicely for very soon. So the Falcons, their logo's kind of shaped like an F, which is fun. They're red. It's red and black. Hard to distinguish it being a bird, but I get kind of what they're trying to do with the with the F design. It's fine. I think I like the general aesthetic overall, but Falcon is one of those pretty generic bird names, and a lot of these team names are generic because a lot of team names name themselves after NFL teams. But yeah, I mean it's another like middle one for me, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's so, I feel like the F thing is a little bit try hard. Like I appreciate it. I love like the I think about like the Minnesota Wild and the Hartford Whalers. I think about like a few other logos where they try to incorporate like a shape and as well as a letter, and like all of a sudden you look at it closely, you're like, oh my god, that's so fucking cool. Like
yeah.
you kind of like realize certain logos like have like those things to it. This one I just feel like it's just so like it's just trying too hard, because I feel like what's bothering me is not so much the bird. It's the claw that's coming
talon.
out to be. It's the talon. It's the talon's fucking weird to me.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Okay.
I've been looking at this logo wrong my entire life.
Okay.
I just now like noticed that like the upper top thing is the body of the bird. The wings are flapping down, and its talons are going forward.
You didn't notice that?
No, I thought it was just like one weird wing design.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's a talon. Like, to me, I feel like it makes it feel like the bird is bent weird.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I know that the Falcons tend to kind of come down like that, but like, I don't know. It's just, it feels very strange.
I would put this at C.
What about you guys, Walsh and Gabe?
I mean, you might feel silly. I didn't even realize that it was supposed to be an F until you guys pointed it out. So that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as eye-catching as, it still has kind of similar colors, but I think the fact that the red is so dark, it's not as eye-catching. I'd probably put it, I mean, it is a little bit more creative in the sense it's trying to also do the letter, but I would probably put it in I'd probably put it in B tier. It feels like some thought was put into it. And it's not, it goes a little above average, but it falls short of having something really eye-catching about it.
Yeah. I do kind of agree. Gabe, what about you?
To me, I get what they were trying to go for in terms of like the red and like the black with the red stripes, because it does look sleek, but you can't really see it amongst all the black. The F shape is pretty creative. I don't really know how Matt could not like both like just Matt like Go Cubs could not.
I don't know.
No, it took me a while on that front too. I just always thought it looked weird. It took me probably like a year or two ago. It was like, oh shit, I see what they're doing. Like,
because I think I thought the top thing was also part of the wing.
Yeah. I could definitely see what you're talking about.
I can't fault you for that. There are some logos and some business names that can sometimes take a lifetime to notice or realize that, and it could be something so like in front, and then you're like, oh, I finally see the D in Disney. Like, it's not just backwards
Disney.
Or I think maybe a year ago, when Sleepy's changed their name to Mattress Firm, I was like, that's such a stupid name. And then I was like, oh, firm is another word for store. Oh.
And also mattresses can be firm.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a play on words. Gabe, where did you say you would rank this?
I do C. Like, it's kind of boring to me.
I think I'm with most of you. I'm gonna go C as well. I do like them trying something, but I feel like it's trying, like I said, too hard. I think, and again, I'm just talking about the mascot generally, the choice of that mascot. It's cool, it's fine, but like it's nothing that stands out. It's nothing that's unique. Falcon just seems like a very generic name again. Like it's just another mascot thing you fill in. So I'm gonna say C. So I think that would average out to a C.
Yep.
Overall.
Fucking wild that we start out with 3 birds.
Yeah, no, I know. We're starting. It's all we're gonna get them out of the way pretty much early as much as possible. All right, Walsh, you're gonna start us off here with the Baltimore Ravens. What is your take on what you see here?
I think it looks cool as fuck. Honestly, I like. You look at a lot of the other logos, and they're kind of basic, where usually they try to keep to very simple color and design. But the Ravens logo is like, no, fuck it. This is a crazy looking ass bird. And instead of going with the black, it's this bluish purple. With this like brownish gold that I think really works well. And the very slight red highlight of the eye really brings your focus to it. And helps it really stand out from the rest, especially when a lot of the rest are a lot of blues and reds. Having that, having a splash of that color, I think really helps it. So, yeah, I won't put my placement yet, but I think this is a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe, what do you think?
I love it. I love how it breaks apart from like the oversimplified just like a few shapes and that's our logo. Like it has a lot of color. It's very detailed for a logo, and purple and gold is an extremely good color combination. Like it's especially because of just how
complementary, since they're on opposite sides of the color wheel.
Yeah,
I like the Ravens logo a lot. It's actually it's on both sides of the helmet, and actually depending on which way the Raven is facing, when it's facing to the right like that, the B is faced the way that it is, but they flip the B around when the Raven's facing to the left. So like the B kind of goes over its head, just so that the B still looks like a B and not a backwards B.
Huh.
But I like it a lot. Little bit biased because I like the Ravens as a team, but I think it's good. I'd probably put it at a B or an A.
I'm gonna put this as an S tier. I really love this logo, and it's not like playing tricks on you like some other logos, but I love it's not. It's also the fact that they are basing it off of history of Baltimore with Edgar Allan Poe having grown up in there, not grown up, but like lived there, and that they're basing it off of his poetry. Like I think that's just so unique for a NFL team to pull from the arts and to have that be a representative. I love the colors, purple and gold. I think it's just very interesting. And yeah, I just think the logo just works, and it just stands out compared to all the bird teams that we're used to seeing on a constant basis. So I'm putting it at an S personally. But we could definitely average that out. You said A or B?
Yeah, I'll put my vote as A.
Okay.
But we'll see what everyone else says.
What about you guys?
I'm going to put mine at an S as well. Even looking at the reverse pattern that would be on the helmet, it still keeps a lot of that same design. Like, it's not too jarring to the point where you might not even realize it just taking a glance at it. And I not even knowing about that, that inspiration from the arts, I think that it is a very cool looking design. So I would agree that is probably one of the best ones and put it at S tier.
And Gabe?
I will also put it in S tier for all the reasons Walsh just said.
All right, there we go.
All right, so we got our first S tier logo here. All right, Gabe, you're gonna start us off here. Your reaction to the Buffalo Bills.
I see that it's a buffalo, but
yes.
Why the red stripe?
Yeah, I don't get.
Scholars have been asking that for ages.
Yeah, I really don't understand this logo in any way. I know that they used to have, it was a red buffalo that was just solid red. There was no stripe. And they were still called the Buffalo Bills. And then they did this logo, and I don't understand the red stripe at all.
It looks like that they wanted the logo to portray a buffalo accelerating in a forward motion. The modification of a red stripe was put in place to convey that.
See,
That sounded like you were coming up with your own theory and then immediately started reading off a Wikipedia page.
No, not my own theory. Sorry.
like, I feel like it's kind of hard to convey that with the way the stripe looks right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like to me, if you're trying to convey speed, wouldn't you do smaller lines maybe near the back of the buffalo? Because I mean, I know that you don't want to look like it's like shitting a red line.
I was about to comment that exact
but,
same thing.
But if you do enough red lines, like it wouldn't look like that. It would look like, and if they're subtle enough, like if you do that red line that you have drawn there, on the back, then yeah, you're basically like shitting a Tetris piece. But like, I don't. Like I would think that like a if you do like a bunch of lines at the back, then maybe that makes more sense. But even still, why a buffalo? I mean, I know it's the Buffalo City, but
right.
like you gotta be a little bit more creative than that. If you're calling it the Bills, are you naming it after the
Buffalo Bill?
Yeah, like the crazy guy. Like that, I would like a I don't know, like a knife. Or like just anything that's like kind of representative of that. Like if you're doing it, does anyone know who Buffalo Bill was? Because I'm not completely familiar.
I thought he was like one of the characters in cowboy movies that popularized the like cowboy culture.
Okay, so then why not like a hat or something? You know, like I mean, I know you don't want.
You already got the Cowboys.
I know, but you got that is like a star. You know, like they have a star.
Star doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Buffalo Bill was a real person.
Yeah.
From Iowa, but I guess they're from Buffalo, so they named it the Buffalo Bills. Sounded fun to say.
You got
it's fun to say if you don't look into it. I'm gonna put this at a D tier.
Yeah. I'm gonna say D as well. I don't think it's terrible, but like I get that the buffalo represents the region. It just doesn't work for me as a team name because it just sounds like, oh, it sounds cool, we're just gonna go with that, but then not really convey the Bill part of your Buffalo team. You know. What about the rest of you guys? I'm
gonna go for C tier. I think for me, I mean, you guys might not like the red stripe too much, but I kind of do. Where to me, it not only does it have that kind of motion, but maybe it's like, oh, the horn is like slashing, but I don't know. To me, it very much catches the eye and adds a nice contrast. And you do have that kind of, not so much, oh, your brain doesn't look at it and go, oh, that is a buffalo moving forward at a high speed. Much more so, oh, the color catches my eye, and it's not just like a bull just like standing there doing nothing. It is a bull charging forward, and that red highlight is like, oh, that thing's a moving. Something's going on there. My eye's gonna look at that. And Buffalo Bill rolls off the tongue. And I think I agree with that idea. Like, it looks and sounds cool, and then you kind of think about it a little, and it's like,
Yeah, I agree with that. What about you, Gabe?
I think a little tweak to the design that could make it a little more, like, conveys the motion more, is if the solid red line was made into, like, 3 thinner lines.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just to, like, signify the aerodynamics of, like, wind hitting the horn while it's running.
Right.
I don't know. Then does it become too busy of a design?
No.
Okay.
It's only 2 colors.
Yeah, I think it would get busy if it was more than that. But I agree with Gabe. Like, I think that works better.
But you don't see many buffalo furries, so I'm gonna go C tier.
Okay. All right.
All right. So we're split between C and D.
For all of these, I'm always gonna round down. Because I think that like you need to get like a majority of, if you want to get like the higher rank, I guess is what I'm going to go with. So I will put Buffalo. I'll put the Bills here. And just because this is going to take a while, we're going to do the first half today, and then we'll do the second half next time. So half of the league we are not going to touch right now, because we're already a half hour in.
Yeah. We just have a lot to say. We're opinionated people.
No, I love it. That's why I didn't want to rush it, do all of them. So we'll focus on just doing half of the logos today. we're gonna move on to Carolina Panthers here, and I'll start, I guess. I do really like that the Panthers are a thing, and I think that there's another team called the Florida Panthers that are part of the NHL, and like that logo's fine, but like this to me, like the idea of the Black Panther and the highlights of blue, I think it's a really, really cool logo. I don't think that there are Black Panthers at all in the area of Carolina, but I could be very wrong on that front. And besides, like, am I wrong? But I feel like I read somewhere that they are not even a real thing.
Panthers are not real animals. Anything that you would classify as a panther is usually a jaguar or a leopard with extremely black fur pigmentation.
With, melanin.
Melanin, high amounts of melanin.
Okay, yeah, because to me, like, and maybe I'm just going off of this, like, one survival show that I watched one time, but it was, I believe they're more, like, northern creatures in more wooded areas.
Yeah.
Jaguars/panthers are found in rainforests, seasonally flooded forests, grasslands, woodlands, and dry deciduous forests throughout their range.
Okay, all right. So that kind of touches on a few areas. Then, I don't know. Regardless, I mean, I think it's cool. It's interesting. It's an interesting logo. It's still kind of generic. Just because I think most animal names at this point are. But I do like the way that this logo looks, and it's fierce.
So I've got a bit of bias. This is one of my top two teams. My one of if not my favorite color combination in the league. I love the facial design, the fact that it's got whiskers, the fact that you can like you look at it and it's like that's a panther, that looks good. I love it. I'm gonna throw it into S tier for myself right away.
Okay, yeah. I didn't give it a Larry rank yet, but I'll wait till other people go.
I think it looks slick as hell. I'm gonna go A tier, but I could be coerced into S tier if it comes to it. I just think it looks. I think just the color combination of the light blue and the black gives it a very slick look.
Mm-hmm. Gabe,
me,
how about you?
Yeah, it looks really sleek. I think that's cyan. Is it? The blue.
Yeah.
Cyanish.
Light blue.
Yes, like the cyanish blue against the black. Plus, like, it's not overly simplified with you can actually see the face and the whiskers, like Matt said. It's just really good. S tier. But Jaguar furry or Panther furries are played out. All right.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Love it. Love the furry commentary so much. I'm not. I hate to be like the killjoy of it. I'm going to go A as well. So it's not going to be a full on S tier. But I think that's just because like I think I like when, to me, what takes it to another level is if a logo has like this hidden gem within it that makes it like, oh my god, that's really cool, or if they figured out a way to make it a mascot best associated with the area. And the Panther, I'm just not entirely sure about that history, but I do think the logo looks very, very cool, and I think it's a lot stronger than like the other Panther logo that we have in like the 4 major sports leagues. I just don't think it's like the supreme at the top for me personally. No, so I'm gonna put Panthers at A at that point.
I have not been coerced. I'm gonna stick with A. So A is where it goes.
There you go. But it's
okay.
No,
I was S2.
Matt was at.
There's
Matt
2
was
S's
well.
and 2 A's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Panthers at an A tier. All right. So we basically covered every single logo, and mascot in all the letters look grades except for F, which brings us. Sorry, Matt.
Wow, Jesus.
To the Chicago Bears.
Can I go first?
Matt, you start us
Can I
off.
go first?
Oh, you can go first for
Sure.
this game.
Trash logo. It's not a bear. I know the C is for Chicago, but it's orange. There's nothing to signify a bear. F
Can
tier.
I show you the alternate like logo that just so happens to not be on this one graphic?
No.
Sure.
because this is used in probably interchangeably with the C.
All right, let's see.
Okay. That's a bear.
Yes.
Okay,
so
that's
we're looking at the
better.
bear alternate.
Yeah,
the
the
bear
bear
alternate right now. But which one do we go with though? Because in my opinion, we go with the one that is most used. In my opinion.
So I think the C is used more nowadays. The bear one is a little bit more classic, but I've seen them interchanged so frequently.
Based on what I've seen, the C is used more on football uniforms. So.
Mm-hmm.
It is that okay? So that the C is what's on the helmet. So we can use that if we want to go like the most official logo.
Yeah, I think helmet is the most official.
And I also think too, I go off of programming that I've seen of the Chicago Bears, like people when they talk on sports shows about it, most, if not all the time, they use the C logo over the bear logo. Not to say that that is not a valid logo, but I think that it's a detriment that they chose the C over this logo, because I do think this logo could be a stronger one to have on most of their teams.
I agree with that.
So with that being said, like I'm not gonna give this an F. I'm going to go D just because I get what they're going for. I get that it's Chicago. It's not terrible. There is definitely a team or two on here that I would say is much worse than this one. It's inoffensive, I will say.
Yeah.
But it's also just it's not great. If they did make it, if the bear was the main logo, I'd probably bump it up a few spots. But
yeah,
as for the Bears generally, like it's a generic name. It just doesn't stand out as much. There's so many bear teams out there.
Not a ton though.
Not in the net, like not on like the national stage, but like again, I feel like just animal names, it's unless it's a really interesting weird animal, I feel like they're just all of them are end up being so played out. I personally will go D.
I'm feeling so attacked right now. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go C just to make sure that it doesn't fall into F.
Okay, fair enough. Walsh, what about you?
And I'm sorry, but I'm also going F.
Fuck.
So I think that averages at D.
That does average out a D at least. But they could improve it if they just switch those fucking alternate, you know?
It's the Chicago Bears. See?
Yeah.
No.
See?
No.
All right, Walsh, you're gonna start us here with the Bengals.
The Bengals. Which one was the last one?
The team that you didn't know existed.
Yes,
because you never heard of a Bengal before, a Bengal tiger.
Yeah, I probably have and just never thought about it. The same thing with like I couldn't figure out. I didn't know what the hell a Colt was. But
oh yeah, that's right. That too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say with the Bengals, it feels a little below average. I think kind of similarly to the Bears, they were like letter. Right. But at least with them, they have the slight tiger stripes going through them. And that's probably really the only thing that's really bringing it together. Should I share my letter, or I'll let you guys go around. You come back to me for the letter.
Sure.
I'll go next.
Sure.
I will say the logo is a complete, and it's just so boring. It's a poor choice. Anything with just a letter is just like, okay, really, you could have done better.
Do they use the tiger head very often, or is it usually the B?
It's almost always the B. They used to, like, kind of similar to what you were saying about the Chicago Bears. Yeah. They did have the tiger head for a good amount of time, but for the most part, it's been for years now. It's been the B. That has been the forefront, which is weird to me because when you go to their helmets, they don't have the logo on there. There's just stripes.
It's the stripes, yeah.
And I love this team for its aesthetics.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
So for the aesthetics purposes, even though again, Tiger, Bengal, the Tiger at least very bad at playing.
At least they named it Bengal and not Tiger, like something a little different.
They tried to change it up as much as possible. I love like the aesthetics of like the stadium and stuff like that with like the jungle patterns and stuff. That's cool. But for branding purposes, I think they could have done a little bit better job. I'm going to say C. But I do love the aesthetics.
Yeah, I was gonna say C as well. I like the stripes a lot. I just think tigers look cool. But yeah, it's a letter. So
How you feel, Gabe?
I'm gonna give it a D. It's very boring. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's totally fine. That's totally valid.
As somebody who I got the chance to make a parody of the tiger.
True.
With the
my draft league team, the in Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, and that
Looks
was
like
great.
Incineroar.
I love the tiger. The tiger looks cool, and while the idea that like the helmets don't have, they have just the stripes on them, I think that can be kind of cool because it sets it apart. But the B is just not doing it for me. I think I'm gonna put that in D tier.
Okay, so we're putting that at a D. That's totally fine. All
All right, since Gabe took the Bears from me, this is a helmet. This team is the Browns. The helmet is orange. This is an F tier logo. If another logo wasn't culturally appropriative, this would be my least favorite logo in the league. F. It's a helmet.
So I was curious. If the Browns helmet, because all of the helmets so far, they usually put the logo on there. I was curious if on the helmets they had the logo of a smaller helmet.
No, but
Nope.
that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
I have seen mock-ups of that.
Oh my god, I would love that. But I think this is going in F.
Gabe?
See, with me, if they did put the helmet on the helmet, and then they put a smaller helmet on that helmet and just kept going infinitely smaller, then I'd give it an S tier. But they didn't do that, so F tier.
Here's an example of what that would look like.
That's so
what I want.
funny. I have to. That is so fucking good. I love that so much.
In general, what do you
ahead.
guys think about the color scheme of orange and brown?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just orange. I mean,
Well, there's brown stripes.
I guess.
In
I
the
wish they
middle.
leaned more into the brown because when you look at a lot of the other logos, it's not. A lot of it is reds and blues and oranges, and I think the brown might have even helped it stick out a little more.
Yeah.
But instead, it's just. You know what it looks like? It looks like the. I mean, some of these actually do look like this, but the Browns more so because it is a literal football helmet. It's like, okay, the deadline to send in your NFL logo is this Friday, and then they missed it, so they just get like a little placeholder logo, and that's what that looks like. Yeah, just like we googled clip art for a helmet, and that's what you get. And they're like, well, at least it didn't look like we, I don't know, just went into Google Docs and pressed the first letter of our team name, I guess. But it looks like if they made a Facebook account or, a social media account, their profile picture would be the little like empty silhouette that you
It's
get.
a football helmet right now. Yeah, I'm 100% with all of you. I gotta go F. I don't mind the orange brown combination.
I think it works.
It would work, but I do agree with Walsh. Like I think you could really emphasize the brown more. And of course, the story of this team is that it was founded by Paul Brown, or it was coached by Paul Brown, and the owner named it after the coach. And then Paul Brown ended up leaving the team and forming the Bengals. So that's a whole history mark there. But it's one of the strangest named team names out there, and
they didn't even go with the color for their logo.
yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I do like the color combination of orange and brown because it reminds me of autumn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'll give this an F plus.
There you go. But I'm going F2 because it's just unbelievable. I know it's hard to do something like and represent the team in that way when it has such a weird history of what the name is.
Could bring back the elf.
You could do the elf. You could also have the dog
The
pound.
dog that they
refer
do, yeah.
Yeah, they have the dog pound. Just make it a dog. I know it's weird that it's still called the Browns, but like, come on.
What is the animal or the mascot for this team?
It's a dog.
It is a dog.
Okay. Yeah, just
Yeah.
we are brown dogs.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just as simple as that. That would fix. So yeah, first F tier is the Brown. All right, Dallas Cowboys. I guess I'm starting here. It's all right. It's just like I know that everyone's like, oh, it's iconic. It's the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just like, I don't fucking care. Like I know I'm speaking as a Giants fan, and it's the whole rivalry shit, but I don't. I just look at this and I'm like, it's okay. It's just a star, and that's it. There's nothing that pulls me in. There's nothing that like is attractive to me here. It is absolutely average. It's I will refrain from giving a letter grade yet, but it's nothing that's great. And then you look at the uniforms, and I'm someone that likes my colors. All right, I'm not here for all the people that just like, well, you just go simple, right? You just go simple with your uniform.
No.
Whatever. Like, no, do something that's a little bit more interesting than this. So, yeah, I'm pretty much sitting in the average area. What about you guys?
I'll refrain for a couple people.
I guess I'll go then.
Yeah.
See, with me, I kind of like this logo because I doubt this is what they were going for, but it kind of reminds me of heel spurs, like on cowboy boots. When they would ride horses, like just. Like, how heel spurs tended to be like stars or multifaceted stars.
Right.
I just think it's kind of creative. I highly doubt that's what they were going for, but I'll give this
I believe they were going for a sheriff's badge.
Oh, that's fucking trash then.
So the weird thing is that the hockey team in Dallas is called the Dallas Stars.
Yep.
Bro.
Yep.
And it's not this logo. I'm gonna go. God, we have a lot in D tier, and that feels weird.
No, looking at this spread, it does not.
D is probably where I would put it.
D for Dallas,
Yeah.
What about you, Walsh?
Steven Universe, Joe Star birthmark, star looking ass. Put that shit in D tier.
So just to be clear, does that mean everyone put it in D?
I believe so.
Okay, I will also put it in D. It's not interesting. And by the way, the stars are just a poor excuse of like so to be fair, actually, to the Dallas Stars, they were the Minnesota North Stars, I believe.
True.
And then they moved to Dallas, and then just became the Dallas Stars. So
because they weren't in the North anymore.
Right, so that whole star aesthetic thing is kind of... I don't think they wanted to move away from that, even though I do think that was kind of a poor decision on their part, because they literally have a much more famous team with a star logo in their hometown. So, I don't know what that whole dealio is, but I would love to see an update to this, but, historical fucking preservation bullshit.
See,
whatever. All right.
Dallas met the deadline for the logo, but they did it really last minute. The Bears, Bengals, and Dallas Cowboys were all like, "Oh God, it's due in an hour.
We need something."
Right, basically. Broncos.
Next up, Denver Broncos. We got a white horse with an orange mane, a little bit of a blue to outline it. I actually really like this logo. I'm not a huge fan of the team, but the logo itself, like, you see it's a horse. You see the flowing mane that it's got. I like that it's a white horse. Even though white isn't necessarily one of the team's primary colors, it's in my opinion pretty solid.
Yeah. How about you guys? Rest of you?
That's a horse-ass horse.
That is a horse-ass horse.
Yeah,
listen to the Doc of Shame.
It feels like a... Hold on, let me just... Yeah, that feels like a horse. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in C tier because that's a horse.
What about you, Gabe? What was your letter grade?
I'll just C. It's pretty plain, but orange on white is very bright, and it's like an eyesore, but in the good way.
Sure.
What
were you thinking, Matt?
I was actually gonna maybe put this up in A. I enjoy the logo a lot.
Okay. I'm
especially on the dark blue helmets.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, then.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess having this on a white background doesn't really do it justice.
There's it on a helmet.
Yeah, I would use that as context. Because I think that this is an improvement of what the logo used to be back in like the 90s, but I do miss the colors that they use. I feel like I prefer like a lighter blue,
as opposed to a navy.
Yeah, but that's just personal preference. Like I do look at this and I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. I up to you guys if you guys want to change your letter grade based on
I'm gonna change mine.
Information.
I'm gonna change it too.
Where is it? What are you hitting? Where are you hitting?
I'm gonna put it in B because seeing it against a blue background looks really clean.
Yeah, I also think that the contrasting colors really work. I'm gonna go as high as a tier.
A tier. All right, 2 A's and a B. I'm gonna be the lesser of the two again, but I'm gonna be with Gabe here. I'm gonna say B. I think it's fine. I think it's a nice logo. I think that it's a very unique one too in some ways. Although Broncos are kind of gets used a lot. Yeah, I think it works. I just don't think it's like anything like super special, but the colors I like. So I'll go B as well. And then we move on to the Detroit Lions. Walsh, you are up.
That's a lion-ass lion, but it's not. The lion only tells in truths. But yeah, it's a lion.
God damn it!
I like the way it looks. Conga lion. Yeah, conga lion looks like he's about to start it. He's moving. He's grooving. And yeah, I do like the color of it. It feels a little basic, but compared to, I mean, that's me saying that from my own perspective compared to a lot of the other logos so far. I think it's it's better than average. But I'd probably put it in like B tier. How do you guys feel?
I'll go next. I love lions. I love blue. It has a good amount of detail for it just being mostly a singular shape, but the white accents to signify the different placements of its limbs and such, and like the slight the very thin line of blue around the white just to make an outline makes it look a little better to me. So I'll put it in A.
Okay. I'm down on this logo overall. I would personally put this as a C tier, just because I feel like it just reminds me of the seals, the government seals that you see on flags. You know, like it kind of reminds me. It gives me that kind of energy where it's just kind of
like a coat of arms.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just feel like it is very basic in nature. I do think it's interesting that they went with a full body lion instead of like the head of a lion, because
I was gonna mention that. Yeah,
but I think it's just average for me. It's a C.
Yeah, it was I was thinking about the fact that this is really like the only full body logo that we have. Everything else is either letters, or it's a head, or it's a shape of some kind. So that kind of sets it apart for me. I like the color. Obviously, I like that it's a lion, but I love I love what you can do with lion heads in terms of design. There's a lot of really good designs you can do with just the head and the mane.
Sure.
So the fact that it's the full body kind of like loses a bit of the special detail. So I think I would go C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we have 2 A's, 2 C's. So B it is.
I think I said B, but okay. Or I don't remember completely. Either way, it's a B.
Yeah, I think that averages out to a B. So there you go.
All
right. And Gabe, it's a G to start you to falls right in line with you for the Green Bay Packers and G.
Good.
I'm gonna have to disagree. It does not fall in line with me. It may be a G. but it's not a good G. Yeah. It's very simple. I don't really like the mushed pea green that it has. And is there yellow on it? I can't tell.
Yeah, yellow outline.
Yellow outline, yeah.
You can barely see it. Especially, well, I'm sure you can see it better on like the uniform
Green,
and stuff like that.
this green logo on a yellow helmet.
Oh yeah, that's really gaudy. I don't like it. Let's do D tier.
Okay.
All right, so unlike other letters, there's no real alternate logo that saves this. It's
What
just
about cheese?
cheese is an article of clothing more than it is a logo.
Swiss cheese.
That's the thing for me. Like, I feel like they missed the opportunity. They called themselves the Packers. It's meant to be about a meat packing company back in like the 1920s or whatever. Like, I feel like it would have been much stronger to have some sort of article, some sort of meat or cheese on your logo, because it'd be a little bit more creative than the G.
But it's a G that looks exactly the same as Georgia. University of Georgia.
Now, hold on now. I would be curious which came first.
Definitely Green Bay. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, I would double check that because
UGA logo origin.
See, I think a better logo, since to signify a meatpacking company, you know, like those generic like meat on bones, like caveman used to eat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a better logo, like with a light browns and like pinkish red inner.
Is your fucking mutton?
The Packers did come first.
Okay, yeah. Have it a little angry face on like the meat.
Yeah,
it's just like
Sure.
Although George's is slightly slimmer than Green Bay's.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I think it is just kind of it falls in line with what a lot of these logos are based off of, which is just historical things. And I know the G of the Green Bay Packers is very iconic. I'm not basing my judgment on historical value though. I look at it and I think it's boring AF. I think and because it is based off of a meat, they call themselves the Packers off of a meat packing company, and they did not use meat. F tier.
F.
The shit green and yellow makes me feel like I should be looking into a toilet. So for the G, I would put it in G tier, but we don't have that, so I'll put it one up better in F tier.
It's the type of green when you eat Lucky Charms.
Oh God. Next team.
I have to cut that out. Cut out all the...
No,
all the bad
listen,
talk.
we are for the most part uncensored here on the Virtual Mall
Yep.
Boys. So y'all gotta keep that imagery in your heads. Gabe, you said F or D?
I'll give it an F. I was being generous.
Okay, yeah, F tier. Man, Packers fans are not gonna be happy with us.
Chris, if Packers fans are not mad at our podcast because of me,
that's true. That's true.
I've done much worse.
The energy you give off, right? the joy that you have over all this Aaron Rodgers drama is maybe unhealthy. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right.
Oh, I know what.
All right. I cannot wait to have this fucking conversation. It is the Houston Texans. Like, okay, so the logo, fine, totally fine.
I like the logo.
The logo is fine. What are you like? When you were in let's go back to 2002 when this team was formed, or 2001 or 2000, whenever this team was decided to be existence, right? How hard was it to find a team name that you settled on Texans? You could have been a little bit more creative than that. Just a little bit. The logo's fine. Blue and red, white, and blue is so fucking played out and so annoying, and so I know I'm anti-patriotic a lot of the fucking times, and I apologize, but fucking give me a break with the red, white, and blue. And I know I could say the same thing for the Giants. I think the Giants are generic as well when it comes to colors. The logo's fine. Just C tier. D. I want to go lower, but I want to hear you guys out on it.
Can I go next?
Yes, go ahead.
I mean, they didn't have to name themselves the Texans, because if you've ever met anybody from Texas, they almost always tell you they're from Texas.
So good. That's so good. So fucking good.
I I mean, I like the bull because they were like, yeah, see, Texas. But but I do like the idea that they very much incorporated the state flag of Texas into the logo.
That part I do like as well.
Yeah, with the red, white, and blue and the singular star, and then making that the eye of the bull. Very creative. But other than that, it doesn't have too much else going on for it, so I'm going to put it at C tier.
I was thinking C as well. The name is really stupid and legally prevents it from going any higher.
Right.
But I like thinking about the whole flag aesthetic. I think helps it not fall much lower. So
yeah,
C works for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What is it? What is the one quote from SpongeBob?
What are you, stupid?
No, when well, I don't know if it's exactly that, but like, when SpongeBob is shaped like Texas, he's like, "What am I?"
No, that's it. Stupid? No, I'm Texas.
I'm Texas.
What's the difference?
yeah,
No,
basically.
I have no beef with Texans. I have family that lives in Texas. It's just this logo's kind of bland. D.
All right.
I'm gonna stick with C. I when you said that, I didn't realize I forgot about the Texas flag. I didn't realize like that's what it was based off of. So I think that does elevate it for me. But yeah, the Texans name is just
you had an opportunity to make a cool, new, interesting team name, and you blew it, Houston.
They were like, oh no, the Cowboys are taken, the Bulls are taken. What can we do? The Houston Lassos? No, we can't do that. Jeez, guys, I don't know. This is a toughie.
The Houston Rodeos. All right, next up is the Indianapolis Colts. Matt.
So the Indianapolis Colts is a blue horseshoe. The only other color that they incorporate in anything is white. So you get that shade of blue, and you got the white, and that's really it in terms of color scheme. I mean, it's a horseshoe. You're named the Colts, so you got that connection.
It's a white. It's on a white helmet.
It is on a white helmet. Yeah, it's just not something that stands out for me.
Can I? So, you are the Indianapolis Colts, and it's a horseshoe. Why not just take the logo and tilt it to the right 90 degrees?
I was just about to say
and make it a fucking C for Colts and a horseshoe.
Yep.
But to me, I'm like, I look at the Indianapolis Colts logo and I'm like, what does the U stand for?
Yeah. I'm 100% with you, Walsh. That's exactly what I was thinking about. And like, to me, the difference between that and the Bears logo is that the Bears logo is just orange, whereas this one would be like, oh, it's a horseshoe just tilted to look like a C. That would have been cool, but they just stuck with the horseshoe. And sure, fine, but that just makes it boring. So, I would go D tier, honestly, on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go D.
D.
I'll round it out with another D.
All right, all the D's. All right, let's move on. Walsh, your reaction to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Fucking cool. Look at that. That's a Jaguar. That's all fucking cool. I mean, like, of course, then it falls into the same area as the Panthers, except instead of it having the slick kind of design of the Panthers, it hits a level of detail that, in terms of logos we've discussed so far, maybe the Ravens have had, where the spots of the Jaguar very much help it stand out, and it has that contrast. But I think one of the details I like the most about it is the blue of the eyes and the tongue. I think that blue really helps contrast with the like the orangey gold of the Jaguar, and then the black spots even help it contrast even more. And I think it really helps. I mean, big cats, awesome. Lions and
Agreed.
Panthers, you're already cool. And I think the logo just very much, captures the cool design of a big cat, but then the blue is just this really like fun, eye-catching touch that really helps pull it together.
Yeah. A lot of people actually really do not like the Jacksonville color scheme design uniforms. I've been an apologist for them for a while. I love the color scheme. The logo's cool. That teal color is just so unique. Like, you don't find that color in really anything else.
Yeah, I get you.
So I really enjoy it as well.
Yeah, for me, I was just kind of spamming our chat with the helmet images because what used to be the case with this team was that they had this very interesting black to gold gradient that went from the front to the back. Or the gold was in the back, black was in the front, and I always thought that was fascinating. People hated it, like Matt was saying, but I really liked it. And their current uniforms, they just have the black helmets, but they have the teal is going to be their primary uniform this year. Before that, it was just like a black uniform, and I feel like the teal just works so much better for them as a primary. I look at the Jaguars. I think it's interesting, and I know that again, animals generic, but I really, really like this, and so much so that I'm not going to put it S. I think it's an A tier. I like the logo. I do like that the teal color stand out from the logo, and I like the uniforms a lot. Yeah, I'm an A tier.
This is a hard A for me as well.
Yeah, I think this really fits among A tier for me.
And Gabe?
A.
Can I also say though, I wish I kneel and I pray that not only would they have the teal jerseys, but I know that they also wear tights as well. And if they could wear Jaguar print tights, that would that would be they would look phenomenal.
Now, can I just say we're not gonna this comes from ESPN, so I don't know who actually designed this, but I'm gonna post this picture in the chat and just describe it real quick. This is a Jaguar print helmet with like some Jaguar prints, like stripes going down the pant leg, that are completely made up. These are not the real uniforms. I don't even know who designed them, but yeah, I would love to see that. I love when teams get weird. I don't care about all these people, all these curmudgeons that are in the fucking league. They're like, oh, the Raiders, black and silver? Haha, that looks good to me. Like, no, it's boring as shit. Give us something interesting. Give us something unique, and that would be unique. I do think, though, that the Jaguars do enough to not have it be too ridiculous that they kind of have it be the way it is. And still have like the interesting colors with it. So
I want it to look like they're about to perform with the Cheetah Girls. That's what I want.
I'm here for it. All right, so that's the Jaguars, and last but not least for today, well, you know what? Maybe let's just not talk about this one.
Well, I think we're all putting it in F tier, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is the Kansas City Chiefs. F tier.
It's an arrowhead. It's just got the two letters. We don't need this type of mascot in sports anymore.
Yeah, it's not. It's like the logo is nothing. Like, even if it looked somewhat more interesting than it does, it's still appropriating on indigenous people and native culture, and it's fucking bullshit all around. So, yeah, fuck the Chiefs. I like Patrick Mahomes though. Patrick Mahomes is cool.
I like a lot of Chiefs players. I just don't like the fact that
it's not their fault that their
organization
team
is
racist. You know, like that's not their fault. It's just that's the team that they're part of, and they're fine. All right, so we're gonna break.
I didn't get to do my rating.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Gabe.
I'm gonna be not like other girls and give it an S tier.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're gonna leave it at an F tier.
Oh, look, still averages out to F.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, yeah. I mean, F is the lowest that we can go. I would put it in Z tier, so I guess it averages out to F.
Right.
There you
right,
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. It works out. All right. So that's that on the logos for now, but we will have this game come back together at some point, whether it's the next episode or sometime later on in the summer, and we will finish out the rankings.
Chris, could you give us a quick recap of where the teams are at?
Yes, 100%. S tier, sitting alone, is the Baltimore Ravens.
What?
A tier, the Panthers and Jaguars. Ironically, these two teams came into the league at the same time in 1995.
Ooh.
B tier, Cardinals, Broncos, Lions. C tier, Falcons and Texans. D tier, Bills, Bears, Bengals, Cowboys, Colts. And the F tier, Browns, Packers, Chiefs. Yeah, I would say, like, I do wish we had, like, another layer to this where the Browns and Packers would be F tier and, like, Chiefs were just, like...
Yeah, can we just have, like, a bottom, like, racist tier?
Yeah, I was just about to say it's racist.
R tier.
R tier for
Yeah.
racist. Chiefs. There you go.
Cool.
Perfect.
Thankfully, we only have one team. There used to be two.
Yeah, Jesus. They were the Dallas Texans back in the day, which that was where the Texans name I guess first originated or one of those things. But
Yeah.
but then they moved to Kansas City and they're like, instead of being the Missourians doesn't sound as good. So you know what? It'll sound better. Native culture, stealing from native culture.
Well, they were right. The Missourians wouldn't sound very good because their team would be just in misery the entire time.
Okay, well, after that...
I am in misery.
God damn it. God fucking damn it. Alright, well, this is gonna be fun. I'm glad that we're closing the book for now on that. We'll come back to it and we'll finish the tier list another time. But for now, it is time for our 7th VBBFL team. And so just to recap, real quick, we got...
Would you like me to read the teams so far?
You can do
All
that,
right.
absolutely.
So we are creating 8 new teams. This is also kind of an explanation for Walsh and Gabe in case they're not totally tuned into our the insane process that Chris and I go through.
Yes.
We are creating 8 new teams for the VBBFL. They cannot be in a state that was done for Season 1. That's pretty much the only restriction.
Okay.
So we have the Ketchikan Cosmos from Alaska. Their colors are purple and black. We have the Naples Astral Gators, named thanks to Gabe, who are from Florida. Their colors are dark green and light gray. We have the Portsmouth Submarines from New Hampshire, colors aquamarine and orange. We have the Brookings War Train from South Dakota, colors red, orange, and gold. We have the Wauwatosa Fireflies from Wisconsin, their colors black and yellow. And then we have the Suffolk Nutfellows from Virginia, colors blue and tan.
Love it.
It's a whole lot going on there. All right. So this one's interesting. With a population, this is our new team here. With a population of 83,000, Forest Hills, it is a neighborhood in Queens, but it's considered its own town-ish.
Okay.
I know of this town because I have rode the train into this town multiple times to New York City. Like it kind of goes passes through Forest Hills and then goes to the city. So that's my history of Forest Hills, is just being on a train almost at all times where I step foot in Forest Hills.
Yeah, that's about my history with it as well. I've not been there.
So,
all right.
Yeah, it is time to deep dive, folks. So, now Walsh and Gabe, I would love your input on this as well. I would love if you guys are able to look into this town with us. That'd be great because we'd love if you guys could help us come up with this 7th team.
So we generally we tried to go with a sci-fi type theme with this. Obviously, the Nutfellows kind of, I don't know, you could call that fiction. Maybe a little sciencey. Maybe horror. But
I think War Train was when this really went off the rails.
Off the rails, yep.
I mean the nuts. That's very much cosmic horror.
Right.
Yeah.
Nut people.
Yeah.
Right, this-
Very proud family movie.
Yeah, I think that Forest Hills, I thought I believe that Forest Hills might be where Mets play in Flushing. Never mind. They're very close though. Forest Hills is very like Queens has like all these like very individual areas within it, and like Flushing is one, and Forest Hills is another. It's a very big borough overall in the under the guise of New York City. So in terms of its history, let's see.
I'm immediately seeing a lot of garden-based stuff.
That makes a lot of sense.
We could go kind of like with the Forest Hills name and go with like a cryptid or something.
Yeah, it's
Like
the
living
forest.
in the
It's the
forest.
Forest Hills have eyes.
Oh no!
Well, I don't know that reference at all.
There's a
Hills
book
Have
called
Eyes.
like The Hills Have Eyes.
No, I have not heard of that before.
But that means that the team name is
Have eyes.
Have Eyes.
Have eyes, yeah.
Have Eyes from Forest Hills. I don't think we can do that and like comment on it
Mm-hmm.
in a very an easy way.
Well, so the big things that I keep on seeing when looking at this, it's referred to as a white pot, and I don't know why that's the case. Like, I don't know what that is meant to be. Or was originally referred to as white pot. So I guess white pot was the original name of Forest Hills.
Yeah.
It is very much strongly associated with tennis. The Forest Hill Stadium hosted the U.S. Open until 1978, and the West Side Tennis Club offers grassroots courts for its members. So, very much another sport association there.
I have an idea that goes really deep.
Hit us with it, my dude.
The tadpoles.
Forest Hill Tadpoles.
Are you able to explain it?
Yeah.
Tadpoles. Tennis balls.
So,
Tentacles.
roundabout SpongeBob reference.
Yeah.
It's a deep cut. That is a deep
It's
cut.
a
I
very
like
deep
it though.
cut.
So-
we do have
I
a
like
team
it.
named War Train, but
Here's some more popular culture kind of things. Forest Hills was featured as the home setting of Spider-Man as Peter Parker.
okay, so there's
and
something.
Simon and Garfunkel both graduated from Forest Hills High School in 1958.
The Forest Hill Garfunkels.
Well, what's their song? They got Sound of Silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Bridge over troubled water.
Bridge over troubled. Forest
I believe.
Hills bridges.
I believe
The
that
Forest
was...
Hills Troubled Water.
Troubled waters.
The what was the fun fact that you did right before Simon Garfunkel?
That it was the fictional living place of Spider-Man.
Okay, because I was gonna say it could be like the Forest Hill Spiders. Yeah, that's
I
generic.
have
Spiders could do superhero type name.
I have another reference
Another deep cut. Go
Okay.
ahead.
that has to. No, it's not really a deep cut. It's just
Okay.
it also has to do with science fiction.
Sure. Hit us with it.
The arachnotex.
Whoa.
Is that from something?
You should know where it's from.
Can you repeat that word again?
Arachnotex.
Arachnotex.
Oh, Arachnotex. Yes, I do know where that's from. I don't want
Where is
to.
it from?
I don't want to. It's from Final Space. I don't want to, like, directly rip something like another thing from there.
Sure. Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, that does sound like it would be, like, a better version of Spiders. but
There are
I
a lot
understand.
of celebrities from here.
Oh, do tell.
Ray Romano,
Oh,
Hank Azaria, Helen Keller,
okay. Interesting.
Billy Eichner,
Okay.
Art Garfunkel, as Walsh said.
Forest Hill Romanos.
Romano's named after Ray Romano.
Named after Ray Romano.
Find a character
Hey,
that Ray.
Deborah! Deborah,
The Ramones.
on the football team.
Like, honestly, though, I think Garfunkel's is the best.
If we do, well, okay. So
I will also say, so the Hills Have Eyes, I don't know too much about it. I think it has to do with mutants caused by radioactivity. And you also have a lot of mutants in the Marvel universe. So you could do something along
Mostly
those lines.
through X-Men.
Yeah. The Forest Hill Spider Mutants.
the Forest Hill Spider Mutants. I like it. The thing is, like, I do love like Romano's or Garfunkel, but I don't want to name it after celebrity. I don't
No.
like. They think the problem is like I don't mind references, but I feel like I want to be as vague as possible with it
Right.
if we do it, because I don't want like. If this somehow ever gets attention, I'd rather not deal with a lawsuit for using someone's identity. So
All right, let's do like an offbeat Garfunkel, Carbuncle.
Carbuncle. The Forest Hill Carbuncles.
The Forest Hill Spider Mutants might grow on me.
I'm not totally against that.
That it is a combination of the Hills Have Eyes type thing with the Spider-Man type thing. Like it has a lot of layers to it.
Is there something else with Spider that we can do?
Like I want to build on it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Spider Mutants by itself is good, but I want to see like if we can go beyond this. Like can we like
The Forest Hill Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, right?
Forest Hill's Into the Spider-Verse. I was gonna make a joke of, okay, we have a type of spiders, the daddy long legs, and just get weird with it.
Oh my god. The Forest
Daddy
Hills.
long legs aren't even spiders, though.
They're not?
No.
Wow. They're like, what are they? Like, what? They're crustacean?
Let me see. I know they're not spiders, though.
They're crustaceans.
Could do something.
They're
could
little
do something
crabs.
with webs. Like I think that the Spider-Man connection is the strongest thing we have to get like a fun team name.
Yeah, like, well, because I think of like tarantulas, like Forest Hill tarantulas. We could do Forest Hills, webs,
Web slingers.
Oh,
That is very
Oh,
much.
that's kinda
That is like a
cool.
big like Spider-Man thing though.
I kind of like web slingers though. I mean, I know it does reference Spider-Man like almost directly.
I thought it was like a Spider-Man specific word.
I found out what daddy long legs are.
What is
What?
that?
They're called harvestmen, but they are from the order of Apollones, I think.
Hmm.
So
So they're just a different type of bug from a spider.
yeah,
So
Okay.
they're part of a cult. Is what?
Yeah.
like they're from the family of arachnids, but they are their own thing.
The Forest Hill cult leaders. No, I like web slingers a lot. But I don't. It's up to you guys if we roll with that. I like in terms of.
I think I just need to figure out if web slinger is specific, like super specific to Spider-Man. Because when I search it, it absolutely is.
Yeah, there
Web
is
sowers?
What?
Ooh.
Web sowers,
Web sowers?
like to sow.
Yeah.
What is the expression? You reap what you sow.
Web crafters.
Web reapers.
Web reapers.
The Forest Hill Spectaculars. The Spectacular
Hills.
Spider-Man.
Spectacular. Is it even spectacular? I thought it was Amazing Spider-Man.
It's a friendly neighborhood. Fucking
It's spectacular is from a series.
yeah.
Okay. The Forest Hills neighborhood.
So
Just go real boring with it.
Yeah.
So the Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, is actually a ride in Disneyland.
Oh, okay. So we
Yeah, we
probably
want
should not do
this.
that.
Yeah, we don't want backwards Disney coming after us, okay?
Nope.
So, Damn, I feel like we're back to square one. But I feel like I like that we have the spider stuff. I'm trying.
Yeah, so even if we don't go the Spider-Man route, we can go the general superhero route, and go with something that is more related to superhero or superpowers than necessarily just Spider-Man.
Like, I love the idea of the daddy long legs.
Here's an idea.
Just go up alones because that's still referencing them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or what about the Forest Hills Radioactives?
Welcome to the new age. To the new age.
No, it's not like that.
Breathing in.
Forest Hill Longlegs.
Let it go, Matt. Let it go.
No.
Forest Hill
Walsh,
Daddies.
let it go.
Forest Hill Daddies is definitely a point we were going to reach.
So
Walsh is still holding his breath.
So there is a I don't know why. There is a Marvel. Don't ask me why I know this, but there's a Marvel villain named Stiltman.
Whatever happened to the cryptid idea?
Ooh, we could still go with that.
I'm down to do that. I feel like that was like I think the very first thing that I think Matt said.
I'm definitely like I'm much more on the I'm big in the superhero camp right now in terms of like what I'm looking for.
I mean, so let's just say cryptids. If we can't think of a decision in the next like 5 or 10 minutes, like we'll have cryptids be the thing.
Sure,
I'm okay. I'm okay with still talking in the superhero realm.
Yeah, the only thing too with cryptids is we don't really have room. I guess we could do green for another team. We already have a green team.
I have an idea.
What is it?
It leans both into the superhero route and cryptids.
Okay.
Let's go with the Mothman.
Oh my god.
I can live with Mothman.
I can live with Mothman.
Now
if it's not something you want to do, then
no. I'm all in, but
yeah.
The only thing I want to ask though is that a copyrighted thing?
No, it is a
general lore
cryptid.
I'm down for Mothman then. Is that agreed to by all?
I'm fine with that. I'm looking. Doesn't seem to be. I mean, there's like a film called Mothman, but Mothman is.
I think Mothman. I don't think it's like I for what I understand, I do believe I've heard just conversations about cryptids before that is just. Mothman is just kind of part of that cryptid race, but I would not think that someone has the copyright on Mothman.
No, I don't think so.
That would be like having a copyright on like Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah.
The only other hang-up that I would have, and this is a bit of a minor one, is that we already have 2 teams who have black as a primary color.
We can do a game Mothman.
You could go like, you know how the Ravens, didn't really go with a black, they went with more of a purple. You could do that.
You do like a darker
my
color.
hang up comes more like this is New York, and it's
That's
like
true.
Is the
Mothman is more
Mothman really a New York kind of thing? I mean, if we really want to lean into the New York aspect of it and less so just Forest Hills.
See, that's why I think like superhero would work pretty well there.
But like Forest Hills, Mothman is usually seen in a forest.
Right, but that's like, do we want to go with the name of the town or do we want to go with what the town is like? Which in the past we've gone with what the town is like.
Yeah, I think we've.
Wait, hold on.
We've stretched it some places.
Yeah, like Nutfellows. I mean, come on, that was just because of Mr. Peanut.
Well, that was what the town was like.
Yeah,
we didn't necessarily go with the name Suffolk to get to Nutfellows.
Yeah,
we went with the name Wauwatosa to get to Fireflies.
So, this is something that is a very silly name, but would also be a Spider-Man reference. What if we did the Forest Hills Goblins?
Goblins?
Yeah.
Like Green Goblin?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of different goblins: the Green Goblin, the Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go on with the list. The Proto Goblin, the Demo Goblin.
Goblin lore is very deep.
Yes, very, very deep. I don't know if you were very, very interested in keeping the. Well, this season we're gonna do more sci-fi, and then maybe the next season they're more fantasy themed. But that's just an idea.
We did the fantasy
last season
because it was kind of like we were going off of like roles that would be in D&D because we were doing a tabletop game.
Yeah.
And so this was the idea of doing a sci-fi theme was kind of was presented just to be like, okay, let's just keep trying to do a naming convention, but it went off the rails. Like I said, like I don't think we're really keeping to that as much just because of Orchard and Nutfellows. Like I think it went completely. It just went into another direction. I'm okay with goblins. I do feel like it is a step down from
the Mothmen.
From Mothmen.
I feel like Mothmen would be great. That would be my vote. But okay. I'm okay with goblins if that's what we want.
I would prefer Mothman to Goblin.
All right. Mothman is winning me over. Mothman.
Forest Hills Mothman.
Is that agreement on everyone's part?
I don't know, I'm still trying to find like good like alternate things for superheroes because I think that would be something unique, like we haven't leaned into necessarily like a comic book or hero aesthetic at all for a team.
This is a very, not a very famous poll. There is a supervillain that is from DC Comics, not Marvel. But I mean, DC doesn't have like real cities in the real world, so when you think Gotham, that's supposed to kind of be a very shitty New York City, and it is a Batman villain. There is a villain named Killer Moth. So if you want to do like the Forest Hills Killer Moths, and with a kind of Mothman,
well, I don't want to name it after. I don't want to name it after.
Yeah, it's true. I guess in terms of comics and things that are actually like intellectual properties, I feel like Killer Moths would just be a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah,
anyway.
And really, unless we name them the superheroes, like the only other things we already the synonyms that we had Paladin last year. Defender and Guardian are the dumbass XFL names.
All right, fuck it. It's just the man moths.
The man moths.
The man moths?
Well, you know what? It's the Mothmen because it's the city that never sleeps and there's lights everywhere.
Fuck.
And you go with like a purple and yellow kind of. I don't remember all the color schemes you guys said, but you go with
That's okay.
Kind of purple.
You know what? You won me over
bright.
with it being the City of Lights. That won me over.
Yeah.
That's a good connection. And you get the Forest Hills, you get the...
Yeah. Gabe was the one that introduced it. Walsh was the one that cemented it, essentially. Yeah. So I appreciate your guys' teamwork on that.
Mothman is going to be all one word, just one capital M.
Yes. Yep. So for the Forest Hills Mothman,
yep,
I'm down for it.
Cool. Colors.
I'm into it.
We have purple and purple and black. We have green and gray. We have aquamarine and orange. We have red, orange, and gold. We have black and yellow. We have blue and tan. I feel like red is a necessity for this team.
Fair. Totally fair.
Hold on a second. I'm just gonna color wheel. My computer will load.
What about indigo and red?
Yeah, I was definitely thinking like a purple and red, and then
so
we did purple and red last season.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's the only thing.
Indigo and crimson.
Isn't that just fancy words for purple and red?
It's not the same color though.
Well, indigo is I think indigo is definitely a different type of purple.
It's more blue than purple.
So yeah, so then maybe we can go like a more bluish purple and a red. So a blue and red. And
I would rather at least for this league lean more to the blue than the purple.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it was more navy and red. I know that's like done a lot in the NFL, and Chris, you may not be as into that, but a dark navy with red accents.
I feel like eventually we're gonna have to do some sort of like red, white, blue team anyway,
Right.
just because we're trying different color combinations. So yeah, I think navy blue works because again we were trying to like replicate black without actually picking black as a color.
Yeah.
Because we've already done that. So I'm okay with navy. And,
Yeah, I think a navy blue and crimson red, like Gabe
Yeah.
put it. I think that would be really good. Or even like a navy blue and maybe even like like a lighter kind of red, even like a peach
Pink.
red, or even a pink.
Ooh, pink would be fun.
Yeah, but I feel I just feel that, and this is just me speaking, but red is so essential to the identity of Mothman.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm okay with sticking with crimson red. I know this is our 7th team. I'm hoping that we get a pathway to having pink again because I just enjoy having a pink team.
Or if you
Yeah.
guys
Probably.
are feeling it, because then you can make I don't know. It's been so long since art school. Whatever the fuck, you make a color combination that is 3 colors that are all connected. If you want to do a blue, yellow, and red, very slight yellow accents with all the primary colors. I'm thinking heavy blue and then very light flavors of red and yellow.
Or what about just white and red?
White and
Because you have
red.
speckled moths.
Hmm.
I'm
I-
I'm down for white and red.
Yeah, I white and red seems good.
Or even like
Like,
a white
I-
and pink.
No, I
No.
think like Matt was saying, I think red is the more crucial thing, but I think white is a good replacement for not having since we've already used black so many times. I think
Yeah.
like the inverse is okay because that like it is like a neutral. White is that neutral color
Yeah.
that would be good for this situation. So I'm down for white and crimson red. It'll look very much hospital like, but I'm okay with that. It's totally fine. Like,
Yeah. Do we want to do? And this could be more a discussion for when I'm designing the uniforms. But we could do kind of what we did with Mansfield last year, where it was like white was their primary color, or we could do red is this primary. I know red orange was kind of Brookings' primary,
we
but
could
this
have
could also be gold.
we could have white be the primary color.
Okay.
Because I mean I like crimson red. I think at the end of the day, I think that would be those are like the accents of the moth, like,
Yeah.
like the red eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with white being the primary color there.
Okay.
So that is that. We are forced then to do a West Coast team next time because we have 4
Correct.
solid East
teams, all Eastern
here.
time zone teams.
Yeah, basically. So we will go west next time, wherever it may be. So
Oh,
but
Chris,
yeah.
Chris, where are they playing?
Oh, that's true. So all right. So as we've stated this before, but this time around just in case Walsh and Gabe haven't known, we have been doing we've been doing, instead of the hometowns in which they are named after, they are playing in video game universes. And so for this one, we're sticking in the Nintendo world a little bit. Well, I guess it's not really Nintendo, but it is Nintendo. Pokemon.
Ooh.
The world of Pokemon will
All right.
be where the Forest Hills Mothman will play. So I imagine it's gonna be like inside of one of those gyms,
Gym stadium.
especially those
Yeah.
those sword and
Galaxy
Shield.
Aliens.
Yeah, like that's where we'll probably have like a Gigamax type situation going on, in those battles. So it should be a lot of fun. So there we go. The Forest Hills Mothman get added to the roster, and we are down to one more team, and then we start prep for the draft, baby.
This has been a
weird.
wild fucking. This is a wild league.
I'm loving it, man.
Oh, me
love
too.
I think it's like, to me, our last season looks so generic compared to what this shit is, what this shit's gonna be. But and I know we're running over close to 2 hours now, but I just want to ask before we close out, Gabe and Walsh, what are some characters that you are hoping for, that you're hoping to get, unless you don't want to say because you don't want it to be taken.
Well, we are doing the cartoon world, right?
Yep.
It's gonna be it's gonna be both video games and cartoons, so you can pick.
Oh,
from either.
we've just opened the can of worms. We have just A whole
Yes.
new world. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no clue. I have not even thought about it. I've
That's
been
okay.
so I like
That's
there's
fair.
so many possibilities. It's almost choice anxiety.
No, yeah. No, okay. That's completely valid.
Gabe, anyone in particular
What is this for again?
for drafting,
drafting.
teams?
Do what's your do you have an ideal individual that you want on your team right now?
Greninja?
There you
Good
go.
choice.
Yeah, I believe we did have Green Ninja last year, right? I believe it was on one of the teams, I think Brainerd or something. Yeah, I'm super looking forward to this. I'm excited to have people pick their teams as well. I'm very curious about what people's preferences are going to be when they see this fucking list. It's going to be great. With all that said, guys, next time you see us in about 2 weeks, we may return with Walsh and Gabe. We may not. Depends on everyone's schedule. But ultimately, we will continue our drive to the VBBFL draft. And we will continue just talking occasional NFL football, but mostly talking about football in a non-specific sense. We're just not going to get into those like deep analysis about who's going to win each division. All right?
Who needs to?
There's no need. There's no need except for
Who
sports
needs to?
networks. Sports networks need to make the money. All right. With all that said, thank you all so much for listening, and thank you Walsh and Gabe for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.